Hey, Joe Pale Fern Park, taking a break from the heat wave to do a little canteen cup cooking, although I think this is probably more likely a mess kit Monday type material. This is a replica mess kit. I think it's a M31 replica Italian deal. Anyhow, it was cheap on eBay and it's probably not accurate in any way, shape, or form, but we're going to go with it. Boy, I can't tell you the last time I used my little spirit stove. That thing doesn't... I bought this thing at least a year ago. I've never used it. I don't know how well this is going to work. Hope I don't have to reload this thing. So what I'm going to try to make today is a kind of a beef stroganoff themed deal. I got some Knorr pasta side stroganoff, and I have some minute mushrooms, which is basically mushrooms and onions together. And for the protein, I have some American Works burger from Packet Gourmet. So I basically took all the condiments out and we just have the freeze-dried ground beef in here. All right, we'll see if I can get this fire started and without burning myself. Yeah, she's going. Alrighty. Oh, come on. Seriously. There we are. Who's that Tippy? I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of this. I need 2 cups of water for the rice and 1/4 cup for the beef. Now on the package it tells you to use 1/2 cup of milk. I always just use water. It tastes fine to me. Even though this water isn't up to a boil yet, I'm just going to go ahead and put my American Works burger meat in there. Mainly because it doesn't need to cook, it just needs to rehydrate. And that kind of can take a long time, so I'm just going to go ahead and get her started while the water's heating up. So one big disadvantage of this mess kit already is the fact that your handles get really warm. Yeah, I was a little worried about that stove being too high, but yeah, the flame is jumping right up there, no problem. It's smelling good already. There's a little bit of seasoning in with that hamburger meat. Hopefully it doesn't detract from the stroganoff flavors. I got my noodles setting off to the side. They're going to rest for a minute. And I'm going to heat up my mushrooms and onions. I got a little fluid in the pot here to keep it from burning and sticking on the bottom because this flame is just really going crazy. This is pretty cool. I'm actually getting a second set of jets off of the holes inside of this stove along with the jets that you get on the side of a Trangia. So yeah, it's pretty hot. Boy, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells darn good. And here's our stroganoff after letting it rest for a little bit. That pan is hot. Wow. At first I thought that was going to be too much hamburger, but it actually was really just about the right amount. It's not way too much like I thought it was going to be. Get some of them delicious mushrooms and onions on here. Make it a proper stroganoff. Now if you don't like mushrooms or onions, please let me know in the comments because I love reading that. Right, time to give her a try. If you hear like a hissing sound in the background, that's my sprinkler system going. Man, I am really glad I used this big mess kit instead of a tiny canteen cup because it would not have fit in there at all. This might be 2 meals right here for reals. Anyhows, there we go. Oh man, I hope it isn't piping hot. It's pretty hot. Here's the inside of that wasp nest. Kind of interesting once you get past the menacing nature of the occupants, but you can see there's stages of how that's built. Kind of cool. Let's give this another try. I let that sit for a good 15-20 minutes. I had to let it sit for another 10 minutes. It's still piping hot. Let's go. This turned out actually better than I expected. I think the seasoning from the American Works burger actually complements the Stroganoff seasoning that's in here. There's a little bit more of a peppery component than you would expect with a Stroganoff straight out of the Knorr package like that. It's excellent. Or maybe the pepper comes from the mushroom and onion. I don't know. But it all works together great. I would totally take this camping with a friend. It probably would feed close to 2 people, especially if you had a little something else. I didn't think I was going to do it, but I am a member of the Clean Mess Kit Club now. That was a lot of food, but it was so delicious. Those canned mushrooms really took it to the next level and just made it feel like you're eating something fresh. The meat rehydrated quite perfectly, as everything from Packer Gourmet does. Now, of course, that does come at a price. You can buy freeze-dried hamburger from a lot of places, but it's going to be pretty expensive no matter where you get it from. These mushrooms right here, these Minute Mushrooms Steak Sizzlers, I got those at a Walmart in Wisconsin. I don't think I've seen them at a Walmart in Washington State, so your mileage may vary on this item. They may have it online, or you may find it other places. It was a couple bucks, probably way too much for 3 mushrooms, but it really added a lot to this meal, and it just made it feel like you're eating a fresh beef stroganoff. Great dinner. Well, that delicious mess kit lunch made me pretty sleepy. It's about 12:15 and the sun just came out, which is actually a welcome relief after the last 3 days where it was 88 yesterday, which actually felt pretty good. It was 102 the day before that, and we had in the high 90s 2 days before the 100-degree day. And when you live your life in a box truck, that's pretty darn warm. So it was a frosty 77 degrees up until about 15-20 minutes ago, and I was loving it. So we are officially in the summer season, about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. So I pulled the tarp off of the old truck camper because I don't expect it to rain anymore, and I wanted to have all the air it can get inside. And then I went ahead and, I don't know if you can see it in this picture or not, but right there I took the windows out of the door and the window out of the back of the shed to let it air out in the summertime, because nothing gets quite as hot as a plastic shed in direct sunlight. And I went ahead and installed the fan in here again, so that'll just blow hot air straight through that hole in the top and the back, hopefully keeping it a little bit cooler in here. And that is powered by a very tiny solar panel right on the side there. I wish it was bigger, but that's what it came with. I could probably hook up something better, but I don't. You can see my yucca plant is going to town, so that'll be blooming before too long, I suspect. My butterfly plant, it's starting to bloom, which is nice. That's my fire bush right there. Who don't like a fire bush? I can tell you that slugs like whatever the heck this thing is. So it's time to go buy some more slug bait. This is my Nosferatu tiger lily. And it's blooming a little earlier than it normally does. I suspect it was that extreme heat we had. But usually the yellow kind of veins out here a little bit more. It's way more purple this year than it was in previous years. My golden tiger lilies are starting to pop as well. It's hard to tell with all the green, but this is another butterfly plant. I just transplanted this a few weeks ago, so we'll see if it blooms this year, but if it doesn't, I won't be too disappointed as long as it doesn't die. I got my wash, rinse, repeat chores done, which include weed whipping, make a new hummingbird food, which unfortunately right now I'm having to chase the bees away from because the hummingbirds do not like bees. So I was doing some weeding around my decorative plants, and this is my mini azalea. I think I got like 10 blooms off of it this year. We're growing right next to it are about 3 or 4 cedar trees, and also I think that's a maple tree. Unfortunately, none of these will be able to stay here, but yeah, this is a great spot for plants because it's partially shaded and it gets watered about 3 times a day. Well, it's time to get sweaty. Good thing I waited for the sun to come out. I actually finally got enough of the dirt behind me cleared out that I can drive my van in front ways and then back her up into that space right back there. But I'm going to keep widening it. My goal is to do 6 wheelbarrows a day, which doesn't sound like that much until you're about 2 wheelbarrows in.